most useful knot in sailing is for some reason the one that people have most trouble learning. I'm talking about the bowline, and I'm here to show you in this video that it's actually not that difficult. Here it is. We'll see that again a little bit closer, a little bit slower later on. The bowline is a knot used for tying a loop in the end of a piece of rope. The nice thing about it is once it's in, you can pull as hard as you like and it will not come undone, and also the loop stays the same size, it's not going to slip. So really useful knot. Not as difficult as you might think to tie. I think the reason why people get confused, well, two reasons. One is to get confused about which end of the rope is which, because quite often when we're learning to tie it we use a short piece of rope. It's actually best if you get a nice long piece, because in real life you're working with one end and the other end is led off to somewhere else on the boat. It doesn't really matter for what we're doing. The other thing is that there are two loops involved, and again people tend to get confused about which one's which. There's the loop that we're actually trying to tie, and that's and there is a smaller loop that is used in tying the knot. What I suggest is, if you're using a reasonably long piece of rope, you also make quite a large loop when you're practicing. So here we go, we have the working end of the rope. We make a loop in the standing part, pass the end of the working end through the loop, round the back of the standing part, back down through the loop again, and there it is. That's our bowline. Also nice and easy to untie, providing it's not actually being loaded, because you simply take that part of the loop, pull it across, and it just undoes just like that. So demonstrate it once more, and then we'll have a look at it close up on the table. So here we go, working end, make our small loop, pass the working end through the loop, round the back of the standing part and back through the small loop again, and there's our knot. Right, let's go and have a look at it in a bit more detail and closer up. Right, so here we are looking at things a bit closer up. On the left I've got a knot that in the best Blue Peter tradition I tied earlier. On the right we've got a rope that we're going to tie a bowline into, and this is the time to talk about this story about the rabbit, the tree and the hole. The working end of the rope we can pretend is a rabbit, and when we form our loop in the standing parts, the loop is the entrance to the rabbit hole, and the standing part itself is a tree growing next to the burrow. We can tell that we got it the right way round because if you can see, imagine the roots of the tree go underneath the hole. So let's make a start. We take the working end, the rabbit, in one hand, nip it between the base of your finger and the base of your thumb is easiest, and with the fingers on top and thumb underneath, the same hand, turn your hand over, and that makes a loop. Just use the other hand just to hold the loop in place, because otherwise it will drop out and you'll get all kinds of trouble. Now the working end is the rabbit, we've got the hole, and we've got the tree growing next to the hole. The rabbit starts off in its burrow, it comes up through the hole, runs around the back of the tree and dives back into the hole again. And that forms our knot. If we're going to, just to nip it up, take the tail of the rope, part of the loop and the standing part, and just pull those together like that, and the knot then nips up nice and tightly. Just so you can check whether you've tied it correctly, what we've got on screen now is two bowlines, looking at one from the front and one from the back. The most recognisable bowline shape I think is probably this front one. We can see the loop, and we can see how the rabbit has run up, around and back down again. And if you want to get really flash and prove that you know how to do it, try tying it behind your back like this. Okay, if you can do that, you've passed. So there we go, and that's how you tie a bowline, or bowline, bowline, however you want to pronounce it.